Welcome to 2A Cops, Cops Supporting Gun Rights. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about Hezbollah in the United States. The cops, we've been warning about this for, I want to say at least 20 years. Right after 2001, all of us knew that Hezbollah sleeper cells were in the United States, and we were told some specific information. Still carries over to today. We're going to talk to you about it today. We're going to give you some proof, because the mainstream media is saying it's not occurring, that it's a right-wing conspiracy, that this stuff really isn't happening. We are going to list out exactly the proof that you need to show what's going on. We're going to speak with authority. We're going to talk about tips that you can do to protect yourself and get ready, you and your family, and we get a lot. Now, look, I did this video originally on my second channel, Christian Warrior Training. If you're not following it, even if you're not Christian, you might want to follow it. I put a lot of good information out there. I did this Hezbollah video and how it relates to churches and how to protect your church. Matt thought it would be a good idea to let you guys know. So here we are. That secondary Christian Warrior Training channel. I'm working on a video right now on clearing stairwells. I put a lot of like tactical kind of stuff out on that. So if you want to know more, go over to christianwarriortraining.com. Sign up for my newsletter. I always put my videos out on the newsletter so you never miss anything. Links are in the description down below. You can also follow our channel, Christian Warrior Training. Also, I'm going to talk about some documents in this. Arrests, memos from police departments, stuff like that. As I put that out, that is going onto our blog at 2acops.com. You need to sign up for our newsletter, 2acops.com. Every time we put out a video like this, if we have something else to go along with it, we're going to put it in that blog so you can download it over there. If you don't want to miss anything, sign up for our newsletter. We don't spam or sell our news lists. All right, let's get into it. So the issue with Hezbollah is not just in Israel, Lebanon, Israel, Hamas, Israel, West Bank, Gaza Strip. It's not their issue. It's our issue as well, because Hamas and Hezbollah both have a presence in the United States. It's important to note that our community is not safe because of these people being here. Our border is wide open. They are coming across. Just ask any Border Patrol agent that you come across. If they get to know you a little bit, they'll tell you the truth. And the special interest aliens that they're interdicting, we'll talk more about that. All right. It's important for you because we are given that Second Amendment right to have a gun to protect ourselves. You can see I'm surrounded by guns. I think it's important for you right now to carry. At the end, I always say, remember your ABCs, always be carrying. Look, I got that from Matt. Matt signs off on his second channel, Deputy Matt. He signs off on that. I thought it was great. I picked up on it. It's actually his. And I know that you guys love it, but you truly need to always be carrying right now. But let's talk about our national security context. Let's go over some talking points that are pretty important. All right. Back in 2010, a guy named Jamil Nasser was arrested in Tijuana, Mexico. He was tasked with establishing a Hezbollah network in Mexico and South America. Hezbollah is there. Every week, I put out a narco news bulletin for narcotics officers. In that bulletin, I put out information about car bombs that go off quite frequently. Those car bombs weren't around until Hezbollah started showing up in Mexico and working with the drug cartels. Originally, they first started working with Los Zetas, which was a very violent cartel at the time. They're now in different places now. But when Hezbollah showed up, they started showing them tunneling. That's how a lot of the tunnels going from Tijuana into the United States came from Hezbollah, because they are the tunnel masters. They also helped them with developing car bombs. Mexico has a lot of car bombs going off, killing a lot of people. People don't realize that because the mainstream media doesn't put it out. If you watch the Mexican media, which I do, you'll see a lot of those car bombs coming out. So when Jamil Nasser was arrested in Tijuana in 2010, it uncovered and solidified and showed, yes, Hezbollah is indeed in Mexico, all right, on our border. Jamal Youssef was arrested in New York in 2009. Now, when he was arrested in 2009, it exposed a significant case that involved him in possession of AR-15s, M16s, which hopefully our followers know the difference between an AR and an M16, grenades, explosives, including anti-tank guided missiles. They came from Iraq into Mexico, across the border to New York, where he was arrested. And Jamal Youssef said that he was there to establish a network for Hezbollah in the United States. Okay, so that's the proof. Those are the arrests that we know of that were linked to Hezbollah. In the early 2000s, American law enforcement was notified by the feds that Hezbollah did have networks in the United States. They had sleeper cells. What's a sleeper cell? It is a group that comes into the United States legally or illegally. Most of the time it's illegal. And they establish a base of operations, and they are there for when Iran gets upset with America and they want to create chaos, they activate them, and then they wreak mayhem across the United States. What we were told back then was that they were more than likely going to start doing active shooter incidents. So that, as an example, they would go to one city and just inundate active shooters all over the city so the cops couldn't control it all, and then move on and then go to the next city, then go to the next city, then go to the next city. Think about the mayhem that would occur from that. People would not bring their kids to school, so the parents now have to stay home to watch their kids. Our economy would start slowing down. It's going to tie up American law enforcement, so we can't do espionage or anything else that might happen as the world starts blowing up around us. It is super important for you to always be carrying. I am rolling with a rifle, body armor, helmet, communications. I use FCC. It's not encrypted comms because I can't do encrypted comms because that goes against your rules, and we don't want that to happen. But so I can communicate with other people and that might be in my network, and we can coordinate. We have, when we look at intelligence and police memos, we have a Tucson Police Department memo in 2010. It indicated that Hezbollah had a presence in Mexico. Again, if you want to read that memo, head over to 2acops.com. Go look at the article associated with this video, and we'll put the download in there for you to download it so you can look at it. And then again, we not only have the Tucson Police Department memo indicating Hezbollah's presence. I mean, it is an internal memo. It's common for border state officers to have contacts in Mexico. I mean, I was way up in Northern California and I had contacts in Mexico that I still to this day have people I can call in Mexico and have conversations with them about what's going on down there. So that's not, in fact, when you look at New York City Police Department, they're dang near the CIA level. They have I want to say 120 officers in different countries around the world doing intelligence. So local law enforcement has done a really good job at international intelligence. But we have gotten intelligence bulletins ourselves. I remember getting them indicating that Hezbollah is here. Now, another thing to remember too is that the Hezbollah has been working with the cartels, which should scare you because the cartels are going across a wide open border. If they can get a bunch of fentanyl, look at all the fentanyl coming into the United States right now. Do you think they can get anti-tank guided missiles, Stinger missiles, which are anti-aircraft missiles, belt-fed machine guns, and some of that stuff that was in, all that stuff that Joe Biden gave to the Taliban? Do you think some of that could show up in the United States? Absolutely. Okay. It's easy. Just get it to Mexico. Once it's in Mexico, come right across our border. We stop people called special interest aliens all the time. Special interest aliens are people that come from countries like Iran, Yemen, Sudan, Afghanistan, and we catch them at the border. I have a lot of Border Patrol come to my classes, and I routinely talk to them about SIAs. And I ask them, how often is that? It is a lot. Now, a lot of you rail against law enforcement unions. You think that they're horrible. I'm telling you right now, the Border Patrol Union, right? The Border Patrol Union's purpose is to get better benefits for the Border Patrolmen, right? They're the ones that are speaking out because the Border Patrol officers can't speak out. Look, law enforcement officers don't have a First Amendment right. I have a First Amendment right because I'm retired and I got them back. I can guarantee you after this channel, I'll never work in law enforcement ever again in my entire life because nobody's going to hire me after all the things that I've said on here, because you're not allowed to have a First Amendment right as a cop. Those unions are speaking for the cops. So all the stuff that we know about these special interest aliens, how we know this stuff is going on, because the Border Patrol Union is coming out and saying that we should support them and embrace them because they're letting us know the truth. Now, we know from Border Patrol agents, from talking to them, they're also intercepting Chinese military-age males that we suspect are actually special forces that are coming across. Now, let's talk about the FBI. Oh, my FBI agent. Hey, to my FBI agent that's watching this right now, grab a cup of coffee, take your Valium and your blood pressure medication because I'm about to set you off again. I am looking forward to the day that me and you get to meet together when you come over and do your special knock and talk. I'm not going to invite you in, but it's going to be nice to finally put a face to what's behind the channel. All right. So the FBI, firsthand information from me, I can 100% guarantee you that the Joint Terrorism Task Force leader, and I won't say which JTTF group, which Joint Terrorism Task Force was originally designed to go after Middle Eastern terrorism that were trying to come after America. a JTTF leader in the Western US, I've seen 2 different JTTF leaders say this at 2 different conferences, come out and say that Middle Eastern extremism is not their focus. Quote, they're not worried about that anymore. And their sole focus is on right-wing extremism. If you want to know what the FBI thinks what right-wing extremism is, then take a look at my video up here. It says what they say right-wing extremism is. I'm going to give you a hint. It's me and you. But you got to go back and watch that video, okay? It's super important. They are spending all of their time chasing us and not going after Hezbollah, which is coming across the border. And that should scare the living bejesus out of you, all right? When you leave here, just know that if Hezbollah decides to activate those sleeper cells, they are going to hit places like churches, schools, public gathering places. So it's super important for you to be vigilant and to be prepared. People ask, why do I carry a rifle in my car? So when I go to church, I have full kit in my church. Why? Because if there were multiple active shooters where I live in different areas, the cops are going to be tied up. And I don't know if the cops are actually going to be able to show up for a very long time. If they do, it's going to be like 1 or 2 guys, and that's it, if it got that bad. Several times we've done active shooter scenarios at my church. I have had plenty of time because things slow down. Because remember, this is only good for you to fight your way to a rifle. If that means like ending the threat right now and you didn't get a chance to get your rifle, then so be it. But if you're laying down the hate and it's not working, this is going to get you to your rifle, where you get your rifle and then you come back and then you lay the hate down. It's super important that you start carrying. And most important, you guys are spending $2,000 on a handgun and no money on training. Instead, I want you to spend $450 on a cheap Glock and spend $1,500 on training. You guys need to go to training and learn, and not just like these basic marksmanship training, but we're talking like shooting and moving and like doing the good stuff. So when you leave this video, I always end with, remember your ABCs, always be carrying. It is super important for you to be carrying all the time and to get your head into the right space, knowing that you might have to do violence upon somebody to save your fellow man. All right, do me a favor when you leave here, sign up for the newsletter 2A Cops. So that way go to 2acops.com to get more info. If you're a Christian, head over to christianwarriortraining.com, sign up for my newsletter, follow my channel. I put lots of good stuff out for you guys. That's all I've got for now. Remember your ABCs, always be caring.